Hey, what's up, phone lovers? Welcome to the Mobile Roar podcast for the week of April 15th, 2015. I'm Joe Fidua.
I'm Chris Chavez.
And I am Kevin Kraus.
I just realized
Kraus!
it's tax day. We're recording on tax day.
Chris, you get your taxes done?
Nope.
Good one.
It's been about 4 years, I think. I gotta.
Let's hope no one from the IRS is listening to this.
That'd be horrible.
You've had more important things to do, like review a couple of phones.
Galaxy X6 phone. Yeah, I got those.
Reviews should be going up today, maybe, possibly.
Unless the boss man circles around again and tells me to rewrite an entire thing, which is always a possibility.
So you talked about your first impressions last week. I guess now you can give us a little bit more of closing thoughts, and maybe which one you would pick if you had to choose between the two of them to buy.
This is horrible because in my review I talk about how the Edge is kind of just pointless and silly. I mean, it's there just for looks and only to get an extra $100 out of people, but I probably would still pick the Edge. I'm an idiot, but because it looks cooler, it looks better, and there's just to me it's the real. You shouldn't think of it as an extra $100 you have to spend to get the Edge, because technically that's the real S6. So really, you're buying the real S6, or you can buy a discounted S6 without just a flat, boring screen. So, I'd probably get the Edge. I mean, and I do. The worst part is that I actually prefer the flat version better, because it's flat, like the way a screen should be. But it doesn't look as cool, and it's not
making no sense right now, man.
It's not gonna turn any heads. The chicks, it ain't gonna drop no panties, and it like nothing. It's just a flat, boring phone. But the Edge, on the other hand, that Edge though.
Last week you were saying that the Edge was like annoying you, and now you're saying
it still does.
The front, the flat, but yet you'd still get the Edge.
Yeah.
Giving the edge to the Edge.
You're living life on the edge.
I'm living life like an idiot. Is probably
I mean, I had to. Reviewed the Note 4 and then the Note Edge, which similar in how they compare. I mean, between like the S6 and the S6 Edge. Obviously the designs are a little bit different, but I mean, I kind of felt the same way. I mean, maybe that was a little bit of a different circumstance, because I kind of agree with what Chris is saying, that the S6 Edge seems to me like it should just be the default S6, but I mean the Note Edge, what they offered with the Note Edge wasn't enough of an improvement to justify that over the Note 4. But I think it looks like they handled the Edge screen on the S6 Edge a little bit better than the Note Edge, but I don't know. I haven't had a chance to use it.
Well, like the Note Edge, we kind of talked about it last week and stuff, but the Note Edge, you have a separate screen for like shortcuts and stuff. So that makes sense, because it's not necessarily like you still have the flat screen that you're looking at, and then there's that little curve to put other weird stuff that Samsung wants to put on, whether it's like applications or information tickers or any of that stuff. On the S6 Edge, it's weird because your display, like your actual display, is just curving over. So you're losing a lot of stuff that appears on the sides, and it's not obvious in a lot of apps, but there are some apps that extend like photos all the way to the edges and things like that, and it looks weird because everything's warped around the sides. And if you're like playing a video game or doing something in landscape mode, your clock and your time is warped. It's going over the edge a little bit, and it's just like your eyes are focusing and trying to do weird things, and it's honestly it's a worse experience than just having a flat phone. Yeah. And don't even get me started on the glare. It picks up so much glare. So you could be holding your phone at a perfect angle where you're not getting glare on the flat part, but then the edges are curving over, so you're getting all this glare and you can't even see what's going on the tops and bottoms and stuff. It's really frustrating and annoying.
That would have been my next question. Would have been in landscape mode, particularly when you're doing full screen gaming. I mean, do they compensate for that? Do they cut it off to only use the flat portion of the screen, or is some of the interactive part like on the curve?
It's literally on the curved area, and it's weird because you have to get used to. I want to feel like to say there's a dead zone along the edge area because when you hold the phone, like it doesn't pick up like the corners of your thumbs and stuff.
Right.
So if there is things that you have to tap up on the top and stuff, it can be kind of hard to get it because you don't grab it all the way from the edge. You get it from like a little bit more. It's weird. It's weird how Samsung did it.
That's one thing I noticed about the Note Edge in general, and I don't know if it carries over to the S6 Edge, but with the Note Edge, the curved part of the screen had very poor responsiveness to touch. It wasn't very accurate when you touched it.
Yeah, same thing with this. I remember on our like when me and Rob first played with the phones at MWC, there's this gesture where you swipe up and down on the edge to get the information ticker to show up.
Yeah.
And he was doing it like a million times, but he was doing it too much on the edge because that's what it says, like swipe along the edge, but it's not the edge, it's like right where it starts to bend that you have to like.
That's exactly the issue that I have with the Note Edge. Like there was a gesture to wake it to just wake the ticker part, and no matter how many times I would swipe my finger on the edge, like, it would not light up. It was like very frustrating. So,
yeah. That's how
One
this is.
question I had, I saw a couple people mention that the edge is a little bit more uncomfortable to hold just because the screen kind of meets the back at a little bit of it creates like a sharp edge. Have you had any issue with that?
Yeah, totally. I mean, because I've been using the Edge like almost exclusively, whereas I let my girlfriend, she's on T-Mobile, I let her play around with the regular version, and it was weird going back to the regular version because once I picked up her phone or whatever, it felt so much nicer in the hand. Like there was no sharp edges jutting into your skin. There's a more grippable part, even though it's aluminum and it's still kind of like slick. It's just easier to hold in the hand, whereas the Edge is just like this thin little piece of metal that just juts out, and it's what do they call that? Not beveled, chamfered. They have chamfered edges, and those are super sharp too. So I mean, it's just really uncomfortable and dumb. The only saving grace is that when you put a case over it, it'll kind of bulk it up a little bit, and then the cases aren't going to create a rim that goes around the top. Like I hate that on any other phone. Is like when you get a thick TPU case or something. So I'm still going with the Edge just because when you put a case over it, it feels better than if you put a case over the regular version. But if I had to go naked and bare, I'd probably just go with the regular flat S6. I want to buy the regular S6. I want to get that one. Like I really do. And
that's a question. Is after using it, is this like you're picking one or the other? But I mean, do you want this phone? Is this phone going to be the next phone you own for 2 weeks?
100% yes.
The next phone you own for 2 weeks.
Like without a doubt, it's going. Like I have to have it. There's no. It's so frustrating because. I mean, like we always talk about the podcast. I mean, how much like we just don't like Samsung. I don't like them as a company. I don't like a lot of the stuff they do and some of the decisions they make. But this phone, hardware-wise, and I think this is the problem with Android, fanboys and stuff, is that they just see hardware and they automatically, equate that to that must be a great phone, and that's never the case. We've never seen that be the case. But on this phone, it's just top-notch hardware. The software is a little bit weird, but livable. And then the camera is just above and beyond the best thing like I've ever played around with. The camera is it's unmatched, and I'm gonna have to get it now.
Yeah, I almost feel the same way. Like you said, I don't really like Samsung that much either, but I think if I had to choose from the flagships that have been announced so far, I would have to go with one of the Galaxy S6 models. Yeah. I don't know which one I would go with, but probably the regular one, I guess. I don't know. I'm just a regular guy.
Just a Joe Schmo.
What's the contract price difference between them? Is it
$100?
$100. Yeah, no matter what. And then it's a $100 bump between every storage increase. So if you go 32 gigabyte, 64 gigabyte, 128, it's 100 every single time. So, I mean, a fully decked out Edge is like over $1,000. It's very, very expensive. But yeah.
Worth it?
No, I wouldn't say full price. Usually, I rush out and I'll buy a phone unlocked every single time. But those phones usually cap out about $700 or so. Um, I got too much IKEA furniture to build and put together. There's no way I can. There's no way I can justify running out and getting a Samsung S6 right now. But I mean, it's on my radar. I'll probably get one soon enough, very soon,
Tomorrow.
possibly tomorrow.
Kevin, I don't know if we can talk about this yet, but maybe we can do a teaser. Our phone rankings. I'm curious how those ended up.
I'm curious how those ended up as well. I mean,
You don't have the results
no,
yet?
I do, but I'm curious how they ended up the way they did. But I think it's not going to be too surprising. The new flagships, the One M9 and the S6 phones performed well. We'll have to wait and see which one comes out on top. I know
Right.
me personally, after at Mobile World Congress when that happened, when the phones came out, I would have given the crown to the S6 hands down. But personally, after reading some of the S6 reviews, and granted I've never used the S6 hands-on, I need to actually find one and play with one. But I'm giving the edge personally to the One M9, but I don't think that's how it's going to play out overall.
You need to mess around with an S6, I think, and then you probably change your tune. It's so much nicer, so much nicer.
And even after the Gear VR, I still find it hard to really get into Samsung.
I think you went on your vacation, but before I told you, but I went to like this HTC party and they gave me a One M9, so I've been trying to play around with it and use it, but it's pretty much impossible because I can't. After the Samsung Galaxy S6, it's ruined me. It really has.
It's impossible.
So
It feels disgusting to say this because I don't now I feel like I am turning into Urel like Richard.
you're going to be
You're a Samsung Knight?
Sir
I am-
Chavez of the Samsung curved roundtable.
Like I don't know if I should send him a message and he's gonna come through the door and just like knight me with his Galaxy Note 4 or something, but it's weird. I'm part of those knights, I guess, for now.
If anything, that should show that we're not biased, as people love to say. Chris just flipped.
I hate that.
Script.
I hate that because I will flip flop. I'm always straddling the fence.
Next, you're going to be telling me you're going to get it on Sprint.
I swing. Whoa. Okay, now
Hold on now.
there are just some things that there's no way. I mean, Sprint. It's sad because I have a friend who's on Sprint and she had the opportunity because her contract was up. She had the opportunity to get away from Sprint or renew her contract and get a discounted S6. And we could not, like me and my girlfriend were trying to convince her to get off Sprint and she wouldn't do it. It's like
She likes it?
what do they call that? Like Stockholm syndrome or something?
Yeah.
She doesn't like it. She doesn't like it and she knows it's bad.
She's in an abusive relationship.
She's just scared. She's scared to make the jump.
You know what? I know a T-Mobile service that can write the breakup letter for her.
Oh, God. Yeah, T-MobileDitchAndSwitch.com.
Oh gosh, I almost forgot.
Yeah, just send her that link. That'll get her out of the abusive relationship.
Signed by John Ledger.
I mean, while we're talking about Sprint, we might as well just talk about the Sprint thing that I had in the notes for later on. Did you guys see that they'll send a vehicle to your house to set up your phone?
Yeah.
Will this save Sprint? Will this save them?
I'll tell you, the
No.
first thing that came into my head when I read that headline was desperation.
I can't. If they're traveling, they're like those traveling makeup salesman people now. It's like they're gonna have Sprint parties where like everyone comes over and they show them Sprint phones and
Yeah. Oh.
You make all your friends feel like uncomfortable and guilty if they don't buy a Sprint
a
phone
bunch
from you.
of housewives just showing up like what is this? What is it?
Oh crap! The Chavezes are trying to peddle off Sprint phones.
Sprint
Yeah,
party?
that's it's like, and they have these painted up cars, kind of like the Geek Squad. You know, they got these Sprint cars, and
specialty cars and everything.
who's gonna actually use this or even know that this exists to call it and stuff? It's weird.
I mean, I guess it's when you, I don't know, if you do an internet sales, if you try to buy a phone or sign up online, they'll be like, hey, do you want someone to show up at your house and set your new phone up?
And the kind of funny thing is they're like basing this all out of Radio Shack stores that they're rebranding now, right? They're like, 'cause
Are they
Oh,
really?
are they?
I mean, I don't think this particular service is specifically based out of the Radio Shack stores exclusively, but they've started to put up like Sprint signs like over the old Radio Shacks. They're just like doubling down with the
Would you like
Radio
an
Shacks.
associate from Radio Shack to help you set up your phone?
Yeah. Please, he's out of work. He needs this. He needs this so bad.
Yeah, so that's what they did with all the Radio Shack employees. They just gave them cars and said, "Hey, go help people set up phones."
Nice little
That's
party
great.
gift.
All right, so that's our weekly dose of sad Sprint news.
Oh, so sad.
So on a more positive note, LG G4, more images have leaked this week in a bunch of different colors and materials.
Massive leak. This was I wouldn't even
leather's in
call
the
it a leak.
game.
This was like straight diarrhea. This was like
Yeah.
like everything, full res, crystal clear.
It was almost
res
like
renders.
LG just published the photos themselves, basically.
They're just like, you know what? Forget it. We got to get all the
They
press.
have been doing a weird thing where they're like announcing parts of the phone officially. You know, they showed off the display, they showed off the camera, what's going to be in the camera. They showed off they did a software tour, and so
they've kind of done this for a while too. I mean, usually, Samsung does a similar thing where they were talking about the ISOCELL camera that was in the Galaxy S5. Like this was like weeks before the phone was even official. So they do these like I wouldn't even call them teasers because they basically announce features without confirming them that are going to be the next phone and these new technologies they came up with. But yeah, it's weird. It's weird. And then LG, of course, is just follows suit. They just do whatever Samsung does at this point. So they see what Samsung. Yeah.
These are like official promo images. These are not leaked photos. These are just like
these are official press
they're
renders.
like as official as you can get. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like this leather's nice because it looks like almost a case, but it's like the actual back and it's
Yeah, I think it's a nice looking phone so far.
It's
from what I've
basically it's the Galaxy. They built the Galaxy for the fans that were so pissed off about the non-removable battery, the no SD card slots, and all that stuff. They did it. They slid in and are trying to like I guess capture those people that still want that stuff. But yeah, the backs are removable. It's got removable battery, all that stuff. Leather, if you guys are into that.
Yeah, I like the leather, and then that means they should be swappable then if you can shake the back off and everything. So
Yeah,
and
but
it's not sleather, that's for sure.
the battery's big. The battery's like 3,000 milliamps, so it should be decent.
That's one thing we forgot to mention. I've heard a lot of complaints about the S6 battery life.
The worst. The freaking worst. And I kept meaning to mention this while we're talking about it, but the one thing that is like, there's no way I could keep an S6. Like, thankfully I have like 20 devices because there's no way I could keep it as just my primary. The battery life, I'm talking like 15 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours. I mean, it's like Nexus 5 status. I mean, it's pretty dang bad. And some of those edge features as well, like the information ticker or the like night clock mode, that'll suck battery life like to hell. So it's
surprising that the rest of the phone outweighs your desire to need a battery that lasts forever.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I can't keep it as just my primary. If I had to choose just a primary device, I'm still gonna have to go with Turbo, the Droid Turbs. But it feels so much slower now after using the S6. It feels so much slower. Like I'm so frustrated when I open the camera and it takes that like 1/2 a second longer to open than the S6. Just some of these other things, and it's like it feels so fat and heavy. But of course, I mean the battery life is like double, triple that of the S6, so it's like it's hard to leave that. But S6, terrible battery life, terrible, really bad.
All right, moving on. OnePlus, they're gonna launch 2 phones this year. They say
1 + 2 = 3. Look at the 1 3.
They're gonna
Yes,
launch
they
2 phones.
They straight up told Bloomberg that they're gonna the OnePlus 2 is coming out, I guess, third quarter, and then after that, a cheaper model's coming out. So I'll believe that when I see it.
Right, but they'll launch 2 phones, but how many phones are consumers actually going to be able to buy?
Yeah, it just means double the invites, really.
Or maybe they literally mean they're actually only going to be able to make 2 actual phones. Like they're only going to sell 2 units this year because that's all they're going to be able to do.
They're literally gonna.
They should be able to do better because in the interview they said that they only had 6 employees last year when they were doing all the OnePlus One stuff, which is understandable now when you look at
Makes
how.
perfect
Yeah,
sense.
Pretty obvious.
But now they have 1,000 employees, so
That's a lot of employees. But I mean,
that means
guessing
better support.
I'm guessing in China labor is pretty cheap. So I mean, I don't think it's saying that much, but that's a lot.
I'll tell you what, I'm continuously impressed by how many OnePlus One handsets I see in the wild. Like, I would not expect to just see Joe Schmo on the street have that phone, and I
That
see it
is
all the
true.
time.
That is true. I've seen quite a few people. I mean, usually it's like at geeky nerd things, but like I mean, I've gone like to places and I've seen someone with a OnePlus, and that's really crazy. I can't believe that, but still
I think
rare.
I've seen more Nexus 6s than I've seen OnePlus Ones, and that surprises me.
Really? I
Oh,
don't think I've seen a single Nexus 6.
I've never seen a single Nexus 6 out in the wild, except for one of my Android friends. That's about it.
Oh well. So stay tuned for that. Get your invite button.
My thing is how are they going to be able to top the specs from the OnePlus One? Maybe like a 2K display, possibly a better camera.
Well, what kind of processor did the one have?
800 Snapdragon 800.
Yeah, they could put an 810 in it. There you go.
Oh gosh, please not the 810 is the worst thing on the
They
planet.
could still
No,
put
it's
an
not.
805
It's
and
all about how you implement it.
It is horrible
The
on
A10
the
is
one M9.
perfectly fine on the G Flex 2.
On the M9, it is like significantly slower than the M8. It's pretty bad. It's pretty darn bad. But my thing is the cheaper OnePlus. Like I'm actually curious to see what that might be. If it's like a smaller device, fingers crossed, something around 5 inches, sub 5 inches, that'd be freaking awesome. That'd be really cool.
All right, moving on again. Google. They're starting a program to highlight kid-friendly apps in the Play Store called Designed for Families. And it seems like Google is really kind of focused on kids lately because they had that what is that called? YouTube Kids app. And now they're doing this. I'm guessing this is going to result in like a special section in the Play Store for kids. Basically, if you're a developer and you opt into this, your app is going to be subject to more intense reviews and like before they publish it, and then it will have like a rating, family-friendly rating in the Play Store, which is a good idea, I think. Chris, I know you have a bunch of little cousins that you let use your devices. Any of them ever download something they shouldn't have?
Not yet. I mean, I usually go through her phone and check stuff. I mean, she pretty much just, but like, she's always on YouTube though, and that makes me like a little bit nervous. But I mean, I put all the parental, controls and stuff on her stuff. But even then, I'm always like concerned something weird's gonna show up because there's weird stuff I've seen that just pop up on YouTube every now and again, like the recommended videos or whatever. But
has she tried the YouTube Kids app?
She hasn't, because I think it's geared a little too kiddie and
young.
stuff.
Yeah,
and it's like they curate a lot of the stuff that's on there, and the stuff that she watches are all these like toy reviews and whatnot. So it's like not really her thing right now. I think it's like that's what I've kind of noticed with all this kids mode stuff is that it's all geared towards like really really young children.
Yeah, like toddlers and stuff.
Yeah.
That's funny that you say she watches toy reviews. I hear that a lot. That's what kids watch on YouTube, and that just makes me funny because, like, we watch phone reviews and stuff, and then you got these kids and they're watching toy reviews. It's like everyone just loves reviews.
I was just like, what are these kids doing? Like, what are they looking at all these stupid toy reviews? Just go buy the stupid toy. And then I'm like, right after I say that, I go watch a phone review on something. So.
Dude, the toy review thing is funny because there's like some lady that reviews like Disney toys, and it turns out she is like an ex-porn star.
Oh shoot! No way.
Like she's the biggest like YouTube channel in the world, and all these kids watch these toy reviews, and like.
Oh my god! I heard about her. Yeah.
There's this one kid. His name's Austin something, but Austin Toy Reviews. But he's making he's pulling in over $1 million a year.
Is he a kid? How
Yeah,
old is he?
he's like 8 or 9 or something.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and his dad like helps him and like this and that. So I'm trying to get my cousin like in on this. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, I had like an uncle who's trying to get his kids into like baseball so that they could hopefully go pro and make him a bunch of money. But I'm like, dude, it's YouTube. YouTube's where the money's at. Should be
Yeah,
doing that.
probably the same probability that you're actually gonna get rich off of it as if you were trying to be a baseball player.
The thing is, and this is what I've always told people, is that every single year there are more kids than there were the previous year, and this is going to keep happening forever. So if you can do anything that targets children or kids, you're going to have a huge you'll always have a huge audience, like from now till forever. So, I mean,
I
me and
don't
Edgar
know if
even
that logic is correct. They're
it's true.
always
We're
getting
growing.
older too, so there's new kids being born, but then there's also kids who are not kids anymore.
But the old people are. I mean, there's always more and more. Like
Yeah.
your audience is growing, so it's.
It is. I mean, I agree. Like the population is like I think the population is increasing exponentially, so there has to be more kids popping
Yeah.
up.
There will
The
always be.
population is increasing, but the amount of people that are kids is not necessarily increasing because
I
when
think
there's
it is,
more
though,
kids
because I think
born, there's more kids that become teenagers.
So you're saying that there's also more teenagers than ever before.
Maybe. But then also teenagers are becoming adults. It's
So it's just
So there's more
the
people.
circle of life, man. There's more people.
the circle of life.
But all I know is don't be surprised when you see me making toy review videos. Like I'm going to be that guy, and I'm gonna me and
Yo, this is Chris Chavez, and I got the Lego Bionic.
Yo, whatever.
What do you call it?
check it out. Like it's so easy. That's the beauty of it, is that it's so simple. I have that soft kind of like feminine voice going on, and
Oh, you can do the ASMR version, huh?
yeah, I could do exactly. Which is another thing that's also taken
You
off.
crinkle the boxes while you're opening
I'm
them.
trying to get my girlfriend to get in on the ASMR stuff, but she thinks it's like perverted and weird. But I gotta get her out of that. But it'll happen. It'll
Yeah, we need
happen.
Edgar back to talk about ASMR.
Me and Edgar are the ones that are gonna be doing our toy reviews. Like we have like a YouTube channel and everything already set up. We're gonna start doing them,
Sweet.
reviewing them.
I'm gonna
Super
do,
soakers.
I'm gonna do adult toy reviews if you know.
That would be interesting.
Yeah. So last thing on our list, Windows 10 for phones preview rolled out, and that is one weird name. Windows 10 for phones is what it's called. But so it has the Project Spartan browser now, which is replacing Internet Explorer. Thank God. Not the Internet Explorer was bad, but the Internet Explorer name
Yeah.
kind of is bad.
Yeah.
But I guess there were just a crap ton of bugs in this preview, which it is a preview. It's just for people who want to test things, but I've run the previews in the past, and they've always been just stable enough to use as your daily driver, but apparently this one is not. So if you're looking to try that out, maybe think twice
So,
about giving it a
Is
shot.
the Project Spartan thing and the Internet Explorer thing, are they literally just changing the name, or are they building it from the ground up? They built a new browser.
No, there are. I don't know if they're building it from the ground up, but there is a lot of new stuff in it. It's not just a renamed Internet Explorer. Okay, so wins and fails of the week. Kevin, what do you got?
My winner this week, and I think Joe will agree with me on this one, is we've got the Star Wars events happening tomorrow, and they're going to live stream it around the world, so you get to watch that on your computer. I guess you can watch it on your phone too on StarWars.com. I'm super excited because it's Episode 7, The Force Awakens. They're going to have another trailer, supposedly. So I'm excited to see that. That's my win. I mean, there's not much to it other than that, but I mean,
Yeah, that was the rumor a couple weeks ago, was that April 16th was going to be the full trailer debut, so it makes sense that it would be tomorrow during that event.
that's cool. So that'll be really cool for fans of Star Wars, and I know a lot of people that probably like smartphones a lot have a slightly nerdy streak in themselves. So I'm sure a lot of people that listen to this podcast are probably also excited about that. But I'm a big Star Wars fan, and that actually talking about toy reviews, maybe I'll get a channel going where I review all the new Star Wars toys. If I would have done that when I was like
so much new Star Wars toys, it's going to be ridiculous.
I should go back and like do like vintage reviews of all the toys I already have. Because I've got like all of them, man. Boba Fett, all of it. But that's my win. So my fail of the week, though, and this I don't think this is brand new this week. This actually I was kind of off the grid last week, but I came back and I had an update for iOS on my phone. It was the iOS 8.3, which has the new emoji keyboard, which has been much talked about because you have this ability to change the skin tone of your emojis.
Yes, diversity.
Supposedly they added in a few new emojis, but I haven't really noticed any new emojis that I based on the ones that I normally use. But anyway, the skin tone thing is kind of cool, except it only applies to like half of the people emojis. So the ones that it doesn't apply to are now just like they're like gold people with like gold hair. Like it looks really dumb, and you can't change them to a normal skin tone. So like all the regular faces, not the smiley faces, but like the regular people faces, you can change the skin tone from a light to a dark skin tone. But then you have these emojis that are like the families that have like, you know, the two parents and the kid or whatever, and those you can't change the skin color of, and instead they have like this unnatural gold skin color and like
They're like
shiny.
The Simpsons.
Yeah, it looks really stupid. Like
I mean, what was wrong with keeping everybody just The Simpsons? I mean,
Yeah, it's just like non-specific skin color.
But
yeah.
I mean, I just think if they're gonna go,
Not even a real one.
if they're gonna offer the option, they should go all in on it. And also, maybe I misread something, but I thought there was like a global setting that you could change to like default all of the emojis to the skin tone that you wanted, but you have to actually go through and as you send them, you can choose the skin tone. So I mean,
Yeah, I think you long press
Yeah.
or something, and then it
you
pulls
long
up a
press
little.
and it gives you like a extended menu. So I mean, I like that they're making changes and that they're trying to improve emoji and that they're adding to it. Hopefully, in even more down the road releases, they kind of improve this functionality a bit more. But I'm kind of disappointed with it because they made a big deal about this. It was like the biggest aspect of this iOS update, and I think it was kind of a little underwhelming with all the hype it got. So that's my fail of the week.
Does the iOS keyboard do emoji prediction?
No.
It does not. You have to use like SwiftKey for that. I
Oh
think.
man, that's the greatest feature ever.
Yeah, I enable it every single. They should just have it enabled by default on SwiftKey, but that's like my absolute.
I probably wouldn't even use emoji if my keyboard didn't do that. It's
Yeah, it's too much
hard to
trouble.
go screw, you like look through the list and find the one you want. Yeah, I hate that. I want to just type the word and it pop up. I love that.
There are other keyboard apps that allow you to like bookmark your favorite emoji and stuff like
Yeah.
that, but it's so much easier if you just type a word and it automatically pops up.
Also on emoji, what was the deal? There was something last week with the Apple emoji, and like if you send it to an Android user or something, it would show up as an alien face. What the heck was the deal with that?
It shows up as just something weird no matter what. So like even if you post like some of these new emojis online, like some computer browsers and stuff, they're not. I mean, they don't have the new emoji yet, so it just shows up as like weird stuff, like a face with like a color next to it. But I mean, we just have to wait for everyone to catch up now. I mean, it's cool that Apple's doing it, but I wish. I mean, hopefully this will all be implemented in the next version of Android, like 5.1.1 or something. That'd be
Good
awesome.
luck getting that.
Yeah.
The other day, I had to. I saw online my Nexus 6 AT&T did not have 5.1 yet, and I'm like, "What the crap? This is a Nexus supposed to get updates." And I found a trick where you take out the SIM card and then do a factory reset, and then you can get it. And that's how I had to get it, which is stupid.
Really?
It's really weird. Really weird. And I mean, like, think of it this way: if you're on Verizon, or if you have a Verizon SIM, like you would be waiting on these updates forever, when all you had to do was just pop in like a T-Mobile SIM or just no SIM card at all, and it's that's gotta.
So it's really it limits itself based on your. That's dumb.
Based on your SIM card. It's really weird. But I mean, this is the way they did it. This is the way they were able to get the Nexus into carrier stores, so some sacrifices had to be made.
All right, so my win of the week is another movie-related win. Joe Dirt 2. I don't know if you guys are Joe Dirt fans. I love the movie Joe Dirt. I think it's hilarious. And
I have to see it.
No, I love it. I love when he straps himself to the atomic bomb.
Yeah. That's a great movie. So they released the teaser. I guess it was just a teaser for Joe Dirt 2, which I thought was coming to theaters, but I guess it's only going to be streaming on Crackle.
What?
Yeah, that's what it said in the teaser trailer. maybe they meant the trailer will be on Crackle. I have no idea, but yeah, I'm super looking forward to that. And the teaser they showed, all the old characters like the dude that had the fireworks and Brandy and all those people. So I'm excited for that. Joe
Cool.
Dirt.
Yeah, I'll have to see that.
Yeah, I've never seen Joe Dirt.
My fail is going to be so HBO says that Periscope could be used as a way to pirate Game of Thrones. They're afraid people are going to just hold up their phone to the TV and live stream Game of Thrones. And I got news for you, HBO. People could do that before, and there are a million other ways that they could do that if you're worried about people just recording it with their phone.
Yeah,
I mean,
what in the world? Like how out of touch are these executives and stuff? They just don't understand technology or something.
I could just record the whole thing with my camera.
We could do
on my
it.
phone.
We could do it right now on Hangouts. Just point your computer.
What the heck?
Point your computer at your TV screen right now, and I mean, we could all watch Game of Thrones together virtually.
Yeah.
And talk about it.
There are a million ways to record a show in that horrible quality if you want to do it like that. I wouldn't be too worried about that.
Fun ways to pirate.
Yeah,
A million
that's
ways to die.
yeah. There's
What
even
are
more
you
like
singing?
tech ways to do it. I mean,
A million ways to die.
Are you singing something related to Game of Thrones? Because I have no idea.
Yeah, you haven't seen the A Million Ways to Die Game of Thrones version?
No.
no.
All right, I'll link it in the chat later.
I'm
Maybe
probably
that
one
should
of
be
the
my
few people who have never seen a single episode of Game of Thrones to begin with. So.
Ah, okay,
Yeah.
then it'll have spoilers.
I've never watched it either. I don't.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What?
We're
What
part
is
of an elite
happening?
club, apparently.
What in the world?
It's the new hipster thing. It's to be like, oh yeah, I've never seen Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I didn't see it till. I mean, everyone's always making a big deal, but I mean, it wasn't till a couple of months ago that I binge watched like the first season or whatever, and it was blown
I'm
away.
just like too far gone. Like it's been on for so long. I don't feel
No.
like catching up.
It's too
No, no,
mainstream
no.
for me. It's too
And
mainstream.
my HBO, I had free HBO with my cable, and it like just ran out last week, so I don't have it anymore.
Yeah, it's amazing. Just download it. Just go on Periscope and watch it. Have one of your friends stream it to you. There you go.
Yeah, just get on that Periscope Game of Thrones account that someone
Yeah.
made, and
Hashtag.
yeah.
I'm gonna stream the new Avengers on Periscope. See how that goes.
All right, Chris, what's your wins and fails?
My win is going to be the Galaxy S6 camera. Ta-da! That's definitely my win for the week. I can't get over how amazing this camera is, and it's on so many levels. Like the detailedness of it. I feel like anytime I use any other camera now, it looks like complete crap. And it's just like in the detail. Like you take a picture and you zoom in, you can see so much more detail in the Galaxy S6 camera than you can in any other phone. My Droid Turbo, which I thought had a great camera, it doesn't. It's crap. The One M9, it's crap. Like everything's crap compared to this camera.
Better than the iPhone 6.
Better
Plus.
than the iPhone 6. Like it's just, I know it sounds crazy to say that. I mean, I think maybe occasionally it might match it, but it's like either matches it or it's better. And it's absolutely insane. I mean, the OIS I think is the real kicker. Low light quality is great, and the OIS, like you can have shaky hands. If your hands are shaking, the camera is just keeping perfectly still. It's like the best thing ever. I love it. I love it so much. To me, it's the killer feature of the phone. And then my fail for the week is just going to be the Galaxy S6 battery life, which we already talked about. It's pretty damn horrible. My girlfriend who uses her phone she watches like Hulu and Netflix and always on Facebook 24/7, but she's averaging like 6 or 7 hours of battery life,
Jeez.
where I don't really use my phone that much, and things were really good the first like 3 or 4 days, but something took a really bad turn because it just, even if I don't touch the phone, I mean it drops significantly every couple of hours. So I'm barely getting I can barely squeeze out like 15, maybe 13 hours on this thing. So yeah, definitely gonna be my fail.
All right, Kevin, what is your app pick?
My app pick this week is going to be what many would probably say is a long-awaited update to Snapseed. Snapseed 2.0 came out. This is really the first major update they've released since Google kind of acquired this and released it as a free application for all platforms. I know I had used Snapseed a while back, but I kind of gave up on it. Hadn't been using it as much. I've been using VSCO Cam and some other things, but this new update looks pretty cool. And it adds in some new filters and some new editing features, and it also has a cool feature where you can I think they call it stacks, and it's basically you have the ability to edit the photo without losing the original, so you can go back and restore the photo to an older version if you edit it to a point where you're just not happy and you just want to get back to the original photo. So a lot of cool new editing features. On the flip side, some people have kind of not been so happy with this update. The interface changes a lot, so some people are disappointed that they have to kind of relearn to use the app, people that have been using the old Snapseed. And also, this grunge filter that used to be in Snapseed, which was a very popular filter, they took it out. So a lot of people are disappointed that the grunge filter is missing. But nonetheless, if you haven't checked out Snapseed in a while, since Google really took over and released it as a free app, it's worth checking out the update and seeing what's new and what's different. And it's another great photo editing option for mobile devices. So that just launched this week, I think. It should be out on all platforms.
Yes, cool. I love it. I love it so much.
My app pick is a game called Spring Ninja. If you've been paying attention to my app picks in the past, you probably realize that I like super simple, stupid games. This is kind of another one that's reminiscent of Flappy Bird and those type of games that are really easy but insanely difficult. All you do is you're this ninja and you are trying to spring from like the top of a pole to the next pole, and it's dead simple. You just all you need is one finger to play it, but it's hard and it's addictive. It's for Android, I believe, and iOS. It's by Catch App, which is becoming kind of one of my favorite game developers. They make a lot of really just simple, easy to play games for killing time. But check that out if you're into that type of thing. Spring Ninja. What do you got, Chris?
Just downloaded it right now.
Jeez.
My app pick is going to be Hearthstone. Hearthstone. It's it came out a while back for Android and iOS stuff on tablets, but I think it was just yesterday that it's finally available for smartphones. There was a way to kind of hack it, the original, to make it play on the phone by changing like your build prop or doing something weird like that, but now it's officially available for phones. I haven't played the game yet. It's kind of like a card game based in World of Warcraft characters. But yeah, people are really into it, and a lot of really nerdy people. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be that into it, but I've been dying to check it out. And I heard you can make some money if you stream, if you become pro. So maybe I'll do that.
I mean, you can get on and watch Quentin play.
Yeah, Quentin streams. I don't know if he's done it in a while, but he was streaming Hearthstone a lot on Twitch.
Really? No way.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. It seems so weird to watch someone play cards, but I mean, I guess those people do with like World of Poker and all that. But yeah, it's available for phones. Download it. It's free.
Cool.
Might consume your life.
I don't think we have to ask what phone Chris is using this week. I think we know.
Yeah, Galaxy S6, and yeah, I have the One M9 too. But I will confess that I have I try to pick it up and use it, but there's just I can't do it. Not even with the speakers, the front-facing speakers, which don't sound that great anymore. But
I'm going to be interested to see how long you can last on the Galaxy S6 with that bad battery life.
I'm tempted to use it just as a primary to see if I can actually do it, but I think the only redemptive thing about the phone is that the fast charging thing. It charges uber quick, so it'll die really fast, but at least it charges really quick, so you can just always be tied to some sort of cable, I guess.
All right. Well, I guess that'll wrap things up for this week. If you want to get in touch with us, you can use our email address podcast@mobileroar.com. Let us know if you got one of the Galaxy S6 models or if you went for the M9 instead. You can also tweet us about that. The Twitter handle for the show is @MobileRoarcast, one word. You can subscribe to the audio version of the podcast on Stitcher Radio and the iTunes Store. And you can follow us individually on Twitter. Chris is at GamerCore, Kevin is at You Don't Know Kev, and I am at Tall Schmo. And we will see you guys next week. Later.